you only show the curated version of you, you'll never fully feel loved. And that's a hard truth to sit with because most people aren't trying to fake anything. They're just trying not to get hurt. We think being seen is the goal, but if we're honest, it doesn't feel like a goal. It feels like a risk because being seen doesn't just mean being understood. It means being judged. It means someone gets close enough to decide if we're worth staying for. And once you've experienced what it feels like to be rejected for being yourself, you don't forget that. You adapt. You start adjusting what you show, how much you say, adjusting who you are depending on who's in front of you. Not because you're fake, but because somewhere along the way, you learn that being fully you comes with consequences. You were told you were too much, too emotional, too intense, too honest. So you did what made sense. You shrank. And at first, it worked. People liked you more. Things felt smoother. You avoided conflict. But something else started happening. You stopped feeling known. Because being liked is not the same as being seen. And deep down, you can feel the difference. You can be surrounded by people, having conversations, laughing, showing up, and still feel like no one is actually with you. Because they're not with you. They're with the version of you you learned how to present. And that creates a quiet kind of loneliness that's hard to explain. Because from the outside, everything looks fine. So you tell yourself, maybe this is enough, but it never fully feels like it. Because there's a part of you that knows you're holding back. And the reason you hold back isn't because you don't want connection. It's because you learned what can happen when you go deeper. Because when you go deeper, you don't just risk being misunderstood, you risk being rejected. And that's the part people don't talk about. Vulnerability sounds good in theory, but in reality, it feels like exposure. It feels like standing there without protection, without control, without knowing how someone is going to respond. And if you've ever been hurt in that space, it doesn't feel brave, it feels dangerous. So instead, you stay on the surface. Keep things light, keep things safe, you avoid certain conversations, you redirect things when they get too real, you laugh things off that actually matter to you. Not because they don't matter, because they matter too much. Because somewhere deep down, there's still a belief sitting there that if people really saw all of you, they wouldn't stay. And that belief doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from moments. Moments when you opened up and it wasn't received well. Moments when you were honest and it was used against you. Moments when you showed your truth and it wasn't chosen. So now, being seen doesn't feel like connection. It feels like a threat. And without realizing it, you start building your life around avoiding that feeling. You become someone who's easy to be around, but hard to truly know. You become someone who connects, but never fully lands. You become someone who is there, but never fully present. And over time, you start to feel it. Not loudly, but consistently. That quiet sense that something is missing. That no matter how many people are around, something still feels off. And what's missing is you. The real you. Not the adjusted version, not the filtered version, not the version that fits. You. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Because the solution isn't what most people expect. You don't need to fix yourself to be seen. You don't need to become more impressive, more confident, more put together. You just need to be real. But being real doesn't guarantee acceptance. And that's why most people avoid it. Because if you're real, you might get rejected again. But if you're not real, you guarantee something worse. You guarantee that even if someone stays, they're not staying for you. They're staying for the version you created. And that means even in connection, you're still alone. So the real question isn't, how do I get people to like me? It's, am I willing to be seen even if it costs me the wrong people? And the answer is always yes. Because real love doesn't start when you're accepted. It starts when you stop hiding. It starts the moment you allow yourself to be visible without editing every part of you first. And that doesn't mean you share everything with everyone. It means you start small. You notice when you shrink and you pause instead of defaulting. You say the thing you would normally hold back just a little more honestly. You let someone see a piece of you you would normally keep protected. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to start proving to yourself that being seen doesn't always end the way it used to. When rejection doesn't happen, you stop interpreting it as proof that you're too much and start seeing it for what it actually is. Clarity. Clarity about who can meet you and who can't. Because the truth is, the right people aren't looking for the perfect version of you. They're looking for the real one, the one with depth, the one with history, the one with edges, the one you've been hiding. And those people, they don't show up when you're performing. They show up when you stop. You stop managing every perception, every reaction, every outcome. When you allow yourself to just exist as you are. And yes, this will cost you some people. But those were never your people to begin with. Because the right people will see your shadow and still choose you. Not because you convince them to, but because you show them something real. And for the first time, you won't have to question if it's genuine. Because you'll know. They didn't choose a version of you. They chose you. And that feeling, that's the one you've been looking for the whole time. Not more attention, not more approval, just to be seen and still chosen.